According to uslegal.com, business climate is defined as the general economic environment within a society of enterprises and locations comprising of the attitude of the government, politics, labor organizations, financial and lending institutions towards businesses and business activity, attitude of labor unions toward employers, current taxation regimen, inflation statistics, through which forecasts generally explore a positive twist regarding a financial system. To start off with, I am going to give you a few statistics on Russia. The Russian Federation stretches across Eurasia from Eastern Europe to the Pacific coast. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia has become the largest country in the world because of their amount of territory. The population of the Russian Federation is approximately 143 million people. The largest city in Russia is Moscow, with a population of approximately 11.9 million, followed closely by St. Petersburg, which has a population of approximately 5 million. The legal currency of Russia is the Russian ruble. As of right now, the Russian ruble has fallen by 35% to the US dollar since the start of 2014. Right now, Russia is hurting a lot financially from the combination of low oil prices and tough Western sanctions. However, the fall of the Russian ruble has not been all bad. In fact, this crisis has created an advantage for foreign investors. Before last year, production costs in Russia were really high compared to the United States and Europe, but since a sharp drop in the ruble has reversed this, swelling the buying power of foreign currency investors. According to CNN, the latest trade statistics show just how bad the situation has become. The value of Russia's foreign trade slumped 30% in the first 2 months of this year. Russia's trade with its biggest partner, the European Union, fell by more than a third. Moscow retaliated against European and U.S. sanctions by banning most Western food imports. However, the food imports fell 40% in January and February. But this move backfired because it pushed inflation up to nearly 17% in March, the highest rate in 13 years. Western sanctions left Russia even more vulnerable to last year's 50% plunge in oil prices. To counter the soaring inflation, Russian interest rates have shot up to horribly high levels, and Russia's GDP is expected to shrink by as much as 5% in the year 2015. The President Putin has tried to make this seem like not such a big deal. These Western sanctions. He has promised his people to find trading partners elsewhere, specifically in Asia. The only problem is the only major trading partner that Russia really has is Japan. Since Russia really relies on oil and gas exports for roughly half of its government revenue, the value of its energy exports has dropped by 40% in the first 2 months of 2015, and the government has already been forced to slash spending. And one of the biggest areas that they slashed the funding from was actually the Russian Federal Space Agency's budget, which was slashed by 35%, it was slashed about $37 billion over the next decade. Because of all the bad things that have been happening in Russia, there's been very few actual investors coming into Russia. But however, President Putin is confident in the recovery of Russia, and that people will keep coming, and more investors will come in as the years go by.